So this is going to be a little strange. I don't even know if the microphone's going to pick this up correctly. I'm really going to try and do this. This is something a lot of people don't know. So you'll see on some people's drum sets, they can't tune them properly. They start putting tape on there, moon gels on there. They put tape on their cymbals. I'm really against a lot of that stuff. I do a couple things, like right now I have a moon gel on the snare. I'm really against that because if you need to do any of that, your drums are not tuned correctly. I'm a big advocate of that. And if you're doing all that stuff, you have the wrong heads on your drums and you're tuning them incorrectly. They're not tuned right. You don't need any muffling on your drums. So what I'm going to do now is I got a new snare and it came with a stock head. And this is it right here. This is actually a Remo head, but this particular Remo, it says UX drum head made by Remo and has a Remo logo, made in China. Now Remo used to be over there in Van Nuys. I don't know, I think they moved. And the only reason why I know that, I used to do their printing a long time ago and I used to go to the place all the time and do the deliveries. I need to figure out which head do I want on the snare. Now this works for your toms too, what I'm about to tell you. I don't want to keep putting different heads on the drums and then taking them off and then change it to a different one. Now I did that with the bass drum because I've had nothing but trouble with the bass drum and I still don't like it. But anyway, for the snare and the toms, what you're going to do to figure out which head or heads you might like, you need to go to your local drum store. You can still buy these things online, but you're going to need to go feel these in your hands for what I'm about to show you. So this one says it's made in China. This is a stock one. It says Mapex on it because I bought a Mapex snare. And what you're going to do is you're going to hold it in your hand and you're going to tap it. So you really don't want to touch it except for on the rim. And you're going to want to tap it. I'm going to try and get this close to the microphone and see if it'll pick this up. I'm going to try and turn this one around and see what it sounds like to the microphone. It's got a real boingy sound to it. This is such cheap garbage. This is trash. You know, and that's why they sell it with the snares. It's whatever's cheap that they can get on there. That's really bad. Now you do this with your toms too. When you're going to buy tom heads and you do that, if it's got a lot of boing to it, your tom is going to have a lot of boing to it. You can't tune that out. It's built into the head. And you're going to sit there and you're going to have trouble. You're going to tune it up. You're going to tune it down. You're going to mess with the resonant head. You're going to have so many problems. And then you're going to start putting moon gels and tape all over it to fix it. Because that is how you fix that. You can touch it. That's such paper thin. It doesn't even work. So I'm going to grab another head for a second. See if I can pick up the difference. This is an Evans. This is an Evans Heavyweight Dry. Now this particular one, you can see right here has a center dot. It's a reverse. What does a reverse mean? It's on the back side, so you can see it through the head, but it's not on the top. It's built into the bottom. This is to get extra reinforcement, and it deadens it a little bit, hardly any, but we're going to hit this one now. I wonder what happens if I turn it around. Now that has a little boing to it, but it decays really quick. It goes boink, boink. Whereas the other one's like boing, boing. And so that's a really good head right there. I really enjoyed this head. I had that on the, that's a Thomas snare. I don't know what it's called, but I had this on there for a while. I really like this head. It's a really good head. This is another Remo. This is an Emperor coated with a dot that I put on there. And I bought this for a specific song that's coming up, and I'm still working on that. But let's see what this one sounds like. Let's turn it around, see if the microphone picks that up. So this one, compared to that Heavyweight Dry, actually has a higher pitch. You can actually hear that the pitch is higher, but it doesn't really have a boing to it. This is actually like a standard head that a lot of people use on their snares. This next one, this is a hydraulic head. I might say some wrong information here, but the hydraulic head has it's 2-ply. Now, a lot of these heads down here, they're 2-ply, but they're like 2 pieces of 7mm together. I think that's how the tom heads are. The tom heads are Evans EC2S. They are a 2-ply, but there's nothing really in between them. It's 2 plies of plastic together. Hydraulic head actually has hydraulic fluid in it. There's 2 heads, 2 pieces of plastic. I don't know how thick this one is. And it's hard to pick up on the camera. You can see bubbles. There's oil in between the 2 heads, and it really makes it dead, like totally dead. This almost sounds like a bass drum head, just don't. There's like no sound to it. It actually has a little bit of boing to it. I'm actually going to try this on the new snare and see what happens. If I don't like it, I'm going to go with the heavyweight dry. But I just wanted to show that because you could do that with the tom heads too. When you're buying tom heads, you know, a lot of people like pinstripes. These EC2s, those are very similar. If you listen to that in a pinstripe, they're almost identical. But what I've done on the toms, I used them on top and bottom. A lot of people like a single ply on the bottom and the 2-ply on top. That'll actually give your drum a little bit more of a boing because of the single on the bottom. I wanted more of a resonant because I play 80s style rock and roll and I have the deeper toms. And with the thicker head on the bottom and the thicker head on the top, they're not thick like the hydraulic because that'll be completely dead. It's enough to resonate through the drum and it goes boom. That's where I get the boom sound from. That's from just setting it up that way. But I just wanted to show that because if you're having trouble picking heads and you're like, my drum set sounds bad, do that. Go to the store, pull them out of the box, hit them, put them back nice and neat, don't mess up their store, and go through all the different heads. And you'll find exactly what you want by doing that. Or at least you're going to get really close, but you won't be as frustrated down the line. So I hope this video helped in some way that, you know, if you've been having that type of trouble, I hope that helps you somehow.